Hey everybody, this is Brett, and tonight I want to talk about who I trust and who I don't and why. And I think that it's important for me to reveal these things so that you can kind of get an idea on who you might want to trust and or who you don't want to trust and why. And um, a long time ago, I trusted doctors, the medical industry, because that's all I'd ever grown up with. And every time I would get sick when I was a kid, my mom would take me to the doctor and they would prescribe some antibiotics. They would say, oh, let me look at your throat or let me look at this or that. And then 5 minutes later, we were out of there with a piece of paper that was a prescription for some antibiotics. And so then we would go home and my mom would tell me that I have to be on these for approximately the next couple of weeks and that I have to take one every 4 hours or whatever it was. And then I would magically get better. And as I grew older, I learned that there are no quick fixes that are worth anything in this life. And then I started to, in my early 20s, go back to doctors, though. This was before I learned that, I was learning all throughout life that there weren't really any decent quick fixes that were worth anything, but I hadn't learned good enough to know that doctors weren't worth anything. And the reason that I say that is because in my early 20s, I did start learning because I still had acne. And the acne was causing me difficulties with meeting girls. That was one of the things, at least one of the things that I felt was, you know, troublesome for me to meet women at the bars, etc. And so I started going to doctors, dermatologists, and they would prescribe me, once again, antibiotics, tetracycline, erythromycin, etc. And it would fix the problem temporarily. I would dry up, and then I'd look great. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go out and mess around. And then pretty soon I got the pimples back again. And then after doing those rounds of antibiotics over and over again so many times, I started to have stomach problems, digestion issues, acid indigestion constantly. And so I went back to the dermatologist for the last time, and he prescribed to me Accutane. And the Accutane dried my face up like a prune, and my lips were so sore and cut up and bleeding dry, and you could pick big chunks of skin off of them. And it was horrible. It was horrible, the side effects from taking Accutane, retin A. It's a high concentration of vitamin A that's totally unnatural. And so many years later, incidentally, I learned that people were suing the Roche company that owned Accutane, but for all of the different problems that they were having. And and then just like in a nutshell, over years and years and years after that, after I'd completely gotten away from all prescription drugs, because I started to learn about natural health. And I started to think about how human bodies and minds have evolved for so long on natural things. And it made no sense to me. After just a short while of studying the book of macrobiotics, it made no sense to me whatsoever that anything that a doctor could prescribe that was just a quick fix, that was some kind of a lab-created, patented drug, that could be a good long-term solution for my health. The word health became a new thing for me to study. It wasn't just like go to some place and see some person that looked like they were professional. So I always wondered, like, what gives a doctor the ability to give you this piece of paper for some drug that came from a lab? What gives them the knowledge to know that a human body can heal from this stuff that they created from trying to make money from this patent on this drug? I always wondered that, you know. And after many years, it came the conclusion that I achieved from all of this was that the whole thing was just to make money, just to make money. And so I'm making this video in an effort to clarify some things because a lot of people out there think that doctors are worth something. And I think that they're worth something like emergency operations. And people that don't take care of themselves, they need these desperation quick fixes. They need that. But people that take care of themselves and really work on their health, for me, I don't need it at all. I've learned when my immune system is kicking in. I know how it feels. I'm cold on the outside, and I need to get under the covers and stay warm and just rest when my immune system is kicking in so that it can do its job and function properly. But they never talk about any of those things. They'll never talk about any of those kinds of things, legitimate healing things like reflexology and massage and stretching and essential oils and herbs, real medicine. Because people are so addicted to processed foods and they're so speed laden in their lifestyles that there's no way that they can actually feel as though they're healing at a reasonable speed by using natural remedies. Natural remedies probably won't work for most of those people out there because they don't live naturally. Their bodies are so completely gunked up with cheese that there's no way that herbs are actually going to affect them in any way, shape, or form. It's all a joke. All of that is a joke. And so I live in this world of people that are basically like clog heads. They're all clogged full of so much chicken fat from Kentucky Fried Chicken and cheese and pizza and white flour foods. And it's just like, it amazes me. And so all of those people, they need these desperate drugs, these quick fix drugs for people from doctors, from the pharmaceutical industry. They need all of that. They probably need it because like there's no way they can stay home if their immune system kicks in because they've got a 40-hour-a-week job and they have to go to it, right? Okay, so that's what's happening right now. That's what's happening right now. People are so burned out from these BS lifestyles that they live, in which they just have to keep eating sugar to keep going. They're like, oh, I feel really tired. What I need is a Mountain Dew. I feel really tired. Can you just get me some Mountain Dews and a pack of Marlboro Reds? That'll get me going again. Or whatever, Twinkies. And so they get their sugar rush and they're good for another 30 minutes on the job or another hour or two, whatever they can stand. And then by the end of their day, they just want to go home and crash. Okay? So the lifestyles that people live are so directly connected to the foods that they eat and to their mindsets and the medicines that they choose and the people that they trust. So the title of this video, this live video, is Who I Trust and Who I Don't. Okay, so who I trust for me, what I trust for me, is natural medicine because I live more of a natural life and I have a natural mindset. And I know what not to do and what to do. I don't do, when I go to the store, you don't see me buying Clorox and bleach and that's what they dropped on people in World War One, like chlorine bombs out of the airplanes, the biplanes. They'd fly over the trenches and they would drop chlorine bombs on people. Look it up. In World War One, 100 years ago. And they'd kill people with freaking chlorine. But people nowadays, they still go by Clorox. They think that their mother taught them, like my mother did, that Clorox was good. I would breathe that stuff and I'd be like, "Ah, I can't believe when I was just a little boy, I was gagging from chlorine. And my mom would be like, well, it disinfects the toilet, blah, 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 blah. You know, amazing. And ammonia. And people dump all of that down their drains. We live in a nutsoid world. People are dumping all of these chemicals down their drains, and then it goes out to the ocean in big pipes, and the fish that they like to eat are exposed to it. Ugh! That's how freaking stupid people are. And so when people wonder about like why I don't trust the general public, that's why. Because the general public are complete freaking idiots. They're destroying their own air. They're destroying their own sea. They're destroying their own animals that they love. They kill and eat animals that they love. They're feeding animals junk, animals that they love, but they say that they love their animals, but they don't really act like they love their animals because they don't spend any time with them. They say that they love their kids, that they've got too many kids and they've got too many bills and too much everything to be able to spend enough time, proper time, taking care of things like children and animals and taking care of the things that are important, like their health. They don't have their priorities set worth a shit. And so that's why I don't really like humans very much. And I don't like doctors very much. And I don't like anyone that's in a greed-laden industry like real estate very much, like Donald Trump. Anybody that's just thinking in terms of what's lucrative, I don't like them. Anyone that's thinking in terms of doing anything that's against the environment, I don't like them. Once again, Donald Trump. Even though I agree with a lot of things like the wall, for instance. I think that a wall keeps some things on one side of the wall and some things on the other side of the wall, and it acts as a deterrent. That's why people have fences in their yards. And so you can't just let everyone from South America come up to North America and experience whatever we have that they want. You can't just allow that. And you can see that now with the Bidens. The Biden is not also, just like Obama, is not just allowing all of the immigrants to come up here, as many as wants to come up here. You can't do that. They may say that they want to be like that before the election to tell the liberals, hey, we want to be a lot nicer to the immigrants, blah 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 blah, or to the Chinese that are stealing all of our ideas and manipulating things, and so even though I agree with a lot of the things that Donald Trump was talking about as president, there's no way that I would ever vote for him because he's such a complete freaking money hungry loser. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about in the world that we live in regards to what I like and what I don't like. And there's so many examples of things that are completely ridiculous in our world and things that are good. Um, when Black and Hispanic people complain about the police, now look what's happening in Houston and New York. Black and Hispanic cops getting killed by criminals. Well, guess what's going to happen? They're going to learn that they can't go soft on criminals. You can't go soft on criminals. It doesn't mean you get to choke them to death on the ground, even though I don't care that George Floyd got choked because he was a lifetime criminal. Lifetime criminals aren't worth a crap. People that get convicted over and over and over and over again, like George Floyd, just get rid of them. Dump them in the ocean. I don't care about any of them. All those people are a burden, okay? We live in a world where there are 100 or 1,000 times too many humans, okay? Ask anyone that studies animals. Human beings are an animal. Ask anyone that studies animals what happens when one gets overpopulated. You will see that something comes along, something magically comes along in our world to depopulate that overpopulated animal. And so when you've got a lot of overpopulation of human beings in this world, the lowest of the low of them have to go. That's what I think. And so criminals, when you got people that are doing things that are completely unacceptable, I don't care what color they are, white, black, green, or brown, any damn color, it doesn't matter. If they keep doing criminal activity and getting convicted over and over again, the liberals will not do anything about it because they are idiots. But those things will change because, see, the harder things get, see, what we're having, what we have right now, is we have this scenario of where the screws are getting turned in from all directions. When the screws get tightened in to the center, it puts pressure on everybody in a lot of different regards. And if something is full of it, if something is full of you know what, then it's going to have to go. We won't be able to afford to have to keep criminals in prisons forever. The United States has a ridiculously large amount of criminals that get to just coast. They get to just sit around and meditate. Look at what I do half the time. Half the time I'm in this room, like sitting and doing massage and meditating. I might as well be in jail, right? Getting fed for free and housed for free. I get to go outside for an hour and enjoy the sunshine, etc. Those guys get a free effing ride on us, on the taxpayer. Eventually, these truths will rise to the surface, and people aren't going to put up with it anymore because there are hardworking people out there that don't commit crimes. Hardworking, white, black, yellow, and brown people out there that don't commit crimes that are going to get sick of criminals. And they're buying guns in record numbers last year. Because that's what happens. When there gets to be a lot of desperate people out there, the lowest of the idiots start to commit crimes. And the good people, regular people, whatever, start buying guns to protect themselves. And I'm hoping that a whole lot of criminals get shot and killed because that reduces the excess population. Anything that reduces the excess population, I personally am all good with it. So the title of this video is what I like and what I don't like, right? Something to that degree. I like a reduction in the human population. That's what I personally think. And there's a lot of different reasons why I like a reduction in the human population. That doesn't mean that I'm like a heartless person. It means that I'm just a person that looks at things logically. Because if you look at human beings, they're not going to voluntarily change to be able to be sustainable. Sustainable means that everything is working in conjunction, A plus B, everything is working along nicely and everyone is happy. But human beings, they're not willing to change in regards to making things sustainable. And so that's why a whole lot of them really need to die. And I'm not saying, of course, that I'm wanting to be the one to do anything in that regard. I'm just saying that logically, I'm just saying that logically, That's what's going to happen because that's what nature does. Nature nature creates balance. Nature creates a natural balance. And if something is out of balance, then you know what's going to happen. Balance is going to be recreated. So when you see all of these news outlets lying out there, you know what's ABC, NBC, CBS, all of them, Fox. When you see all of these people telling you that what they think, okay, so they can have their opinion, and their opinion may be in alignment with the medical industry or the government or the mainstream. They're probably going to be in alignment with the mainstream. And that's to appease all of them. They're all in conjunction with each other. You know, you've got the junk food industry, and they're all playing off the medical industry, and the medical industry is playing off them, and the government is in between them, and they're playing off them, and they're all buddies together, and they're all in cahoots, and they're all trying to save humans because the humans that they're trying to save are their bread and butter. The people that are buying into the medical industry are the ones that need to buy into the medical industry because they're all obese and bloated and full of parasites. Tell me that what I'm telling you isn't true. If you get all full of mucoid plaque and parasites and heavy metals and undigested food matter, you're also going to be bloated and red and bleeding and get cancer and all kinds of other diseases. And that's good for the medical industry. They love that, right? Because they've got just the answer for you. They've got drugs and they've got chemotherapy and they've got doctor's appointments and they've got all kinds of different treatments for you. And the more you need treatments and the more you buy your health insurance, the more they need you. They need you to pay for their Mercedes bill and their big house on the hill. They love all of that. The medical industry loves people that are sick. But what happens when they get so sick that they're all flooding their hospitals to the point of where there's too much stress on them and they can't stand it anymore? Well, they go crying to the media, and the media loves a good story, don't they? They love to hear a good story. And so they want to present all of that and tell everybody that what you need for good long-term health is the you know what. Maybe it is for most of those people. How long is their health going to last? How long do you think their idea of long-term health is? And what their long-term health is supposed to be? Like consuming prescription drugs every day, that's become the norm. And that's good health. I'm only 600 pounds overweight. I saw this girl today. I went to Goodwill and they made me wear a mask. I got 4 t-shirts and I did pretty good. I got 4 cotton t-shirts today. And I was really amazed because the last time that I went there, I had a really hard time actually even finding algon cotton t-shirts. And today I lucked out though, and I found some, but I had to wear a mask. This guy comes up to me and he says, Goodwill policy is that you have to wear a mask. And so I wore a mask and I found my t-shirts. They wouldn't let me in the dressing room so I could change my shirt. So I just took my shirt off in front of everyone in the Goodwill store and tried on my shirts to make sure that they fit me good. And like, do you guys think that I really care? No, I just did it. But in any case, I went to check out, and you should have seen the size of this woman that checked me out. I'm going to show you right now how wide she was. This woman was not a human. She was a giant beach ball. I'm telling you, this woman was this big. And this is the shape that she was. And she weighed about 300 pounds. And she was only about 5'9", no. She weighed about 300 pounds and she was only about 5'7". Okay. So, but I guarantee you that she had her mask on. She had her mask on, and she had her you know whats. She'd gotten the you know whats. So this girl, she was safe as she could be. She was so safe. But I guarantee you that no doctor that she's ever talked to has talked to her about, it's most likely eating natural foods. They probably told her to go on a diet, like a Weight Watchers diet or something like that. But did anyone ever talk to her about how dairy is not a food? Did anybody ever tell her that cake is not acceptable to eat, or that candy is not real food, but that is all just junk that people have made up over the last whatever? Nobody ever taught her anything about any of that, and she doesn't have the brains to figure it out on her own. So I'm just telling you some things that I like and things that I think are acceptable and things that I don't like and are not acceptable. As for me, I've been on this journey for 30 years now. It's been 30 years. If you were to count me quitting smoking too, it would be about 32 or 33 years. That was the first thing I did. I got rid of smoking. And that was a very, very challenging and good experience for me, because that led into my being able to get rid of all the other things one at a time. And that's how I've had to do it for the most part, one thing at a time. Other than in the very beginning, I could say that it was kind of more the first part where I completely got rid of processed food, completely ousted all processed food, white foods. All I had to do was spend a few days, maybe a week or two, educating myself on what processed foods were. What does that mean, processed foods? White flour foods, white sugar, anything where some of the minerals are removed from the food, and then, like, generally the carbohydrate part is left over. The pure carb food part is left over. Why would they take the minerals out of the food and make it demineralized? Why would they do that to people's bodies? Because then they would become weak. Well, those things are very addictive. That's why. And people want to eat, consume addictive foods. They can't get enough of them. And if you're somebody that sees that and recognizes that, and you make foods for a living, then that's what you want to do, right? Because you want to sell food to people that they want to just keep buying more. They can't get enough of it, so that you can just keep making more and more money, because that's all you really care about, making Wonder Bread, for instance. Okay, so the makers of Wonder Bread realized that what people really liked to buy is white bread. And if they could make something that just tasted good, that was the only thing that really mattered. As long as people were buying as much Wonder Bread and doing as much volume for the business, for the company as possible, that's the only thing that mattered, right? Okay, so as an example of something that I don't like, I really, really, really hate, is businesses that do things that are unethical even though they know they're wrong. I hate that. So you can think of a lot of different businesses. God knows how many businesses out there are doing things that they know aren't really good for people, but people are so weak and stupid that they'll buy into these things anyway. And so who cares? Let's just make as much money as we can possibly make. Let's just make these jingamajigs, whatever the hell they are, that aren't good for human beings and the world too. See, because there's the other thing. Whatever it is that's not good for people, it's always not good for the environment. Every freaking time. Look at what's happening to the whatchamacallits in Florida. I can't remember the names of them. The animal, the big blubbery animal that looks like a walrus that swims to somebody write it down there, that swims in waters in Florida are being completely decimated, killed off because there's not enough grass for them to eat because human beings keep dumping shit in the water that's creating something on the surface so that light can't shine through the water and grow grass on the bottom of the ocean or on the bottom of these pools and rivers in Florida so that these manatees, thank you, can eat, right? So now they're having to transfer the manatees to zoos so that they can survive. It's absolutely insane. And one of the worst things that's creating this problem is the sugar industry in Florida. It makes total sense, doesn't it? Right? Florida grows a lot of sugar cane. And so the byproducts, the chemicals, whatever it is that's going into the water in Florida is causing the death of manatees there. And who knows what else. So people will have to, even though they know that this is causing a problem, people are addicted to white sugar. What did I do? Okay, so I'm bragging. Either I'm just flat out bragging about myself, or I'm saying that human beings are really, really weak. So for me, I flat out completely quit cold turkey all processed foods when I was 27. I was 27 years old. It took me all through my 20s up until that point, and before that, to realize that processed foods, after I started reading about them in the book of macrobiotics, I realized that this was something that I did not want in my life, and so I instantly quit processed foods, including white sugar. Yes, it was hell for 6 months straight, but I completely got rid of them. Now, you would think in this day and age with computers and books and all of the information that we have available to us, that every single person in the world now should know that white sugar is not good for them. If they don't, I'm telling you, anybody out there right now that doesn't realize this, they should know that that is not acceptable. And if you get on white sugar, it's very possible that you may also be insulin dependent later on in your life. And then you get to be one of those pharmaceutical drug dependent loser idiots out there that, like millions and millions of them out there, they believe in the pharmaceutical industry because without their insulin, they would die, right? Without their insulin, they would die. But did they not know that sugar was going to create that problem decades ago? They did. Did they make the effort to quit white sugar? No, they didn't. So guess what? They get exactly what they deserve. Okay, so there are people out there that will say to me, Brett, what if you were born into a situation? What if you're born diabetic? What if you were born to be prone as a diabetic? You are looking at, my friends, you are looking at someone that was born to be possibly, if I had not quit white sugar when I did, I would probably be a diabetic right now. My grandpa Peterson had to get insulin shots every single day. And my mom, for a while, I believe, and she may still be taking some kind of diabetic pill. She wasn't getting shots, but I think she was getting some kind of a pill for a while there because she had trouble controlling her blood sugar. So, so anyways, there are so many things that are going to be forced to the surface, truth things that are going to be forced to the surface. There was this girl that had this YouTube channel called The Truther Girls, I believe it was, that I used to watch a long time ago. Right now, as an example, thousands of truckers and thousands of Canadians are all emerging on, I believe Ottawa, Canada. And they're supposed to get there Saturday. Correct me if I'm wrong on the city. I don't even know Canadian cities. Sorry. But in any case, um, they're supposed to be protesting, and exactly what they do, I don't know. They're going to do, I don't know. But I'll tell you what I hope they do. I hope they bring thousands of trucks in there, and I hope they just stop on the freeway and don't move. I hope they just stop and create a big freaking blockade of the whole all of Canada. I hope they protest and blockade the whole damn country. That's what I hope. But guess what? All of those people still have to learn because a lot of them are the ones, most of them are all what I've been talking about. Processed food addicts and speed addicts, their lifestyles, all of that, television junkies, all of that. And so if those people think that they can just, you know, slide on by without getting the you know what and never get sick from getting the you know what and not have to worry about any of that or any other disease, they're kidding themselves because a lot of people, it's not just the you know what that's killing people. You all should know that heart disease and diabetes and all of these other diseases kill a lot more people every single day than the you know what. It's not just the you know what is causing the big stink because it's sending a lot of people to the hospital. But think about the numbers, the sheer numbers of people that are dying in their houses full of drugs, prescription drugs, every single day from all the other diseases. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people are dying because they were never educated either by anybody else or by themselves. They never looked into anything. They never learned about macrobiotics or about raw foodism or any of the other diet veganism or anything else. They never learned about any of that. They never learned even about quality of foods. People don't even learn about the simple aspect of reading labels on the back of food items. That's how freaking low people are, how stupid they are, how they don't even care about their own lives. So you're looking at somebody that's really, really frustrated and has been for a very long time. And I've been wondering, well, when are people going to get their acts together? When are people going to get their acts together? And so when somebody like myself sees something like the you know what come along, I'm like, woohoo! Yay! Yay! Thank God something is going to come along and kick people right in the rear end to get them to do something different. Anything. Who cares? Anything but Snickers bars. Snickers bars and ice cream. And I have a friend that he's one of those people that just took the bull by the horns. He showed people on Facebook what he bought at the grocery store the other day. And it was about 80% greens, chard and kale and other greens. And then it was a small amount of black rice, forbidden rice, and he may have had some beans there. But the predominant type of food that he bought at the store the other day was greens. And I think there was a pepper, but it was 80% greens. And his skin is so clear, clearer than mine, much clearer than mine. He's a few years younger than me. But see, that's where you want to work towards. You want to get to this place of where you're eating mostly vegetables. in season. And then you eat, you eat some non-glutinous grains and you eat some beans, but those are only a relatively small percentage of your diet. You might eat some wild meats even. For those of you that are thinking that I'm vegan, blah, 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 I'm not. But whatever. People aren't even in the ballpark. People aren't even close to be eating a decent diet. And I see it all the time. Here's what I see all the time. People think that they're eating pretty good. Well, they might be, comparatively speaking, compared to the average junk food eater. A lot of people are eating decently. But in order to eat and not get diseases, people have to do a lot. You wouldn't believe what I'm having to do and how long it's taking me to get to where I'm eating a lot more raw food and, like I said, mostly vegetables and some fruits. I still eat too much fruits. I still eat way too much nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds are heavy and they clog your body. And people have so many chemicals in their bodies that they're going to have to consume, like I have, a lot of fat for a long time so that they can dilute all of those chemicals out of their bodies. That's why you really, really need skin brushes. You really need to brush your skin a lot to be able to to exfoliate your skin. If you were to take all the skin off your body, what would it look like? How big would it be? It'd be huge. Like it'd fill more than this garbage can. Your skin would fill more than that garbage can. Look how big that is. That is a lot. That is a lot bigger than your liver. Your skin is your largest organ of elimination, and hot showers are hot baths and showers and hot foot baths and hand baths and arm baths, like I showed you, are a powerful way to get all of that toxicity out of your body. But people, they've got to reduce that. See, when you get super saturated with toxic gunk in your body, you're going to get really, really sensitive. And people will get diseases that they've labeled fibromyalgia and all kinds of chemical sensitivity names, blah, blah, blah. They'll make fancy names up for these things so that they can convince you that they're the professionals that know what's best for you. Yeah. We have all these fancy freaking, and we have all these tests too. Even if you go to a naturopathic doctor, and they'll be like, well, just to get into our office is $500. Believe me, I've tried this. I know all about them. So it costs them $200,000 to go to school, just like it does any other regular MD. And if you go to their office, they're going to charge you up your yin yang, like 500 just to go in and see them. And then they have all kinds of tests for you. They have fecal analysis tests and saliva tests and skin tests and hair tests, all kinds of tests to see how many heavy metals you have and how many parasites you have in your body and how much whatever that you got in your body. And they've got a remedy for you. They've got all kinds of fancy machines that they're going to tell you that they've got a beefy machine, and they've got you can go in and put your feet in one of these electrode machines for 30 minutes and it costs you $45 every time you go. They've got all kinds of stuff for you to more natural remedies that can help you to detoxify and cleanse your body. And they've got all kinds of supplements too. But you see, when you don't have a lot of money like me, you have to figure out natural, inexpensive, and home remedies that you can do for free or virtually nothing. And those are, I believe, in my honest opinion, some of the good things. So this video, once again, is about good things and bad things. If you've got the money to go to those naturopathic doctors, then you may very well benefit a lot from them. Most of you do not have the money to go to naturopathic doctors. You may have insurance, and they may accept it and they may not, depending on what kind of a naturopathic doctor they are and what their policies are, etc. But In any case, you what I really like is things like I've been showing you, like going over to Walmart and buying a tub and putting some gravel in the bottom of it, 2 inches of gravel that you bought for $3 at the gravel place, and then putting hot water in it and putting your feet in there with salt and essential oils. And then you get out your pumice stone, and then you really massage it, or you get out a really aggressive brush, like check this one out that I bought yesterday. You would not even believe how aggressive this mother is. That right there will damn near scrape your skin off of your body. And I'm going to tell you about this other one, this one right here that I bought yesterday. That is a brute. That is an aggressive, like that is so stiff. Look how short those bristles are, and look how many bristles there are. When you scratch your arms with that, you can see the skin flying everywhere. And that is a real therapy right there. Look, I'll show you what kind it is. Zafiro. Zafiro. Okay, hang on. I've got to get some water. So what you're going to see is a whole lot of people finally coming to this conclusion that they have to take responsibilities for their own lives. Can you believe that? People are finally they're going to keep asking questions. You're going to get these people over here, and you're going to get these people over here, and these people are going to complain about stuff, and these people are going to say, well, you can't really complain about that because and then these people are going to say, well, you can't really complain about that because this. Well, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? And they're going to complain back and forth, and they're going to keep digging and digging and digging. And they're going to finally get to this point of where they realize that, hey, what we need to do is slow down, start taking care of ourselves, breathing clean air, eating good food, and doing things that actually matter. Because what they've been thinking is like, man, all I do is with my day is I just keep working and spinning my wheels, but I'm not really happy. What's happened to me? I just keep going around in a circle, and I feel like I'm beat with a stick. I feel like I'm a rug that's been beat on a fence with a stick. I wake up in the morning and I'm all stiff and I'm all sore and I'm all tired. And I look at my face and I'm like, I can't even move. I've got carpal tunnel and I've got too many bills and I can't pay the bills anymore because I'm too tired because I can't move my wrists. And my wife has been complaining because she has acid indigestion, and my wife's breath smells like gunk, and I can't stand to kiss her anymore. I can't stand to have sex with her anymore. She's always infected. She's always got bacterial infections in there. And so, I mean, it goes on and on and on. And I'd be like, well, have you been spending any time out in the sunshine? No. All I've been doing is working because I have this job at the hospital. I thought that was going to be a good job to be a nurse, but I've made a lot of money and I have a new house, but the house is all full of chemicals. And when I get home, it stinks like formaldehyde and toluene. And Can't remember all the chemicals. And so then I get home and I'm just drained from taking care of all these sick people. I really wanted to take care of people because I thought it was such a good idea, and I've always been a compassionate person, but then I get to the hospital nowadays and I get all I have to do is deal with all of these people that have bloated, and they're all obese and fat and sick, and they've got bad breath, and I have to wipe their butts for them. My mom was a nurse for 30 years, as long as I've been a health nut now. Okay, I'll bet you that that hospital, I'll bet you that Ogden Regional would hire her back right now, even though she's 76 years old. I'll bet you that they'd love to hire her back because they lost a bunch of their workers as of yesterday. They probably lost 10% or more of their workers yesterday because they said, F it, I'm not going to work for you anymore, and I'm not going to get the you-know-what. They'd probably hire my old mom back that's been retired for 10 years. Ugh. If my mom's still alive, I don't even know. I don't talk to any of them. I assume she is because that's the only time I hear from my family, y'all. If somebody dies. If somebody dies, then I'll get a message on Instagram or on Instagram. That's how I found out about my dad. Like, they can find me. Like, how difficult is it to find me on the internet? Anyways. So yeah, those are some of the things. Those are some of the things. And so when you see all of this yada yada going on in the news, then a lot of those things that I've mentioned in this video are the reasons why. And you're going to see a lot more insanity, like Russian troops amassing on borders, just because somebody is feeling a lot of pressure. And if some kind of a communistic organization is feeling a lot of pressure, and they're the ones that have a lot of power in a country, then they're going to be pulling some interesting strings to try and get their power back. But guess what? That's another thing that I really find annoying. Things that are trying to stay alive that are going to eventually die, like communism, okay, and trying to control people. The only reason that they're able to control people over there is because those people have not taken control of their own lives. Here we have a degree of freedom because a lot of us actually have taken control of our own lives because we're go-getters. There are a number of people in this world that have migrated to this country as go-getters. You're looking at one. Okay, so I'm one of those people that was born from a go-getter family. People that are entrepreneurs, people that know how to work for themselves. We're the go-getters. We're the people that actually don't just sit there. We're the ones that actually get up and make an effort to do something. That's how I can be somebody that's on YouTube and teaching you the things that I've learned and teaching you the things that I feel confident about. And so even though there are go-getters, people that are self-employed, people that are able to invent things, people that are able to, actually make decisions, the decision makers. And in Russia, they don't have that. They don't have very many people there that are willing to step up and say, hey, no, we're not going to, just like this thing in Canada right now. People are not going to put up with it. In Canada, they're not as independent as we are here in the United States, but still, there's a lot of people there that still are independent enough that they're not going to put up with the BS. And the same with Australia. Australia is also one of the UK, one of the United Kingdom offshoots, okay? The US is also, to a degree, a United Kingdom offshoot. But we were the ones that said, no, we're not going to stick with the Queen, but Canada did not. And so did Australia is also one of their, I can't remember what they call that. Australia and South Africa and a lot of other places are are countries that have been spread around the world by the United Kingdom. And those people, they have a degree of strength against the government, but not near as much as we do. But they're getting it now. They're getting it, and they're not going to put up with the crap. But here's what's going to happen, in my opinion, for those of you that want to know. It's good that people exercise their will to be free and strong, but they've got to realize that in order for them to stay free and strong, they have to actually get up and do something about it. You can't just sit there on your duffs and think that things are going to change. And see, that's what this is also all about. Okay, so something comes along like a what, and it forces the governments to impose a lot of what's mandates, and people don't like it, and they're like forced. Finally, they're forced. Like, okay, well, you're either going to change the way you do business. You're either going to have to stand up and scream about it, and or you're going to have to fix things that are wrong, like your diets and your lifestyles. There are so many things that have to change. And people can't just expect things to be rosy without them making an effort, because it's not going to work. They have to make an effort to rebalance things. And I'm so amazed. I'm so totally amazed because I've got all these questions in my mind, like, well, how's that going to get rebalanced? How's that going to get rebalanced? So many things are out of whack. And my analytic brain keeps putting all of this together. Because I keep seeing how, okay, that's going to manifest, and that's going to manifest into that, and that's going to manifest into a rebalancing of that situation that I thought would never get rebalanced before. And I'm like, yes, COVID again, I love you. It's all perfect. It's all absolutely freaking perfect. Bye, manual. Okay, so I wrote a post today that I'd like to read to you. On that note, I just dumped Manual. He doesn't get to comment on my YouTube channel anymore. And I'll tell you why. I'll read the little post that I wrote just a little while ago. Why I blow people off so fast and easy. The reason I get rid of people as I do is because life is short, and because there are 1,000 times too many people as it is. In order to find the good ones to be in my life, like good commenters, I have to get rid of the bad ones. That is precisely why I dump people in 1 second if I don't like them. See how easy it is to understand my simple reasoning? Why I don't care if people die. The reason is because if I say something to people about their bad diet or lifestyle, they will probably get mad at me. So I've learned that there's not much that I can do about people. So I have to take this attitude of not giving a what if they die. Every day I hear the ambulances right out my window, every day. And that comes and goes, but whenever the what is at its peak, I hear those ambulances out there a lot more. And at first this bothered me, but not anymore, because I've got a new attitude. Because I can't do anything about all of those people and the way they're not taking care of themselves. There's nothing that I can do. And this is a lesson for all of you, especially those of you that are concerned about your family members, because some of you actually do take care of yourselves and you listen to the stuff that I say and you study on your own and you watch other people that are doing holistic health things on YouTube, because I'm not the only one and I don't want you to just watch me, I hope. And there's a lot of amazing people that can teach you a lot of holistic health things, and they can guide you in yoga classes and teach you raw food things and all kinds of things. Vegan things, paleo things, it don't matter. As long as it's good food and you're making progress, who the hell cares? And so if you've got family that's resistant to all of that, you have to get this mindset like what I'm talking about here. I don't care if people die. And that includes your family too. Even though some of you are like, oh, he's nuts. He's got to be freaking crazy. I'm telling you, it's true, because my family knows exactly where I stand on all of these things. My brother made fun of me because his friends told him, "Hey, I saw your brother on some squatting video or some enema video." Yeah. And so they're laughing at me. And they're going to laugh at me all the way to the hospital. Yeah, for 20 plus years, or probably 25 years now, I've said to myself, for 25 years now, I've said to myself that someday I'm going to watch my brother and my mom, probably too, for all of them, and any family member that I hear about. They're all going down exactly the way all of the rest of them are. If they're eating that chicken from the store, if they're eating that pork, if they're eating that turkey, if they're eating that cheese, if they're eating all of that, there's zero doubt in my mind that all of that is gradually going to accumulate in their arteries, in their veins, in their joints, in their brains. It's all going to accumulate. It's going to stick. And things that used to be this open are now only this open. And the blood and the lymph and everything else can't flow through there anymore. And so I've thought about this with my own family members for a long time. And so you know what I have now? I've come to this conclusion, like I'd mentioned, that there's absolutely nothing that I can do about any of that. Even though they're my own family members that I still care about. I've come to this place of where I have this big, thick callus on me, of where it's a callus called I don't care anymore. It's the I don't care callus, and it's thick. It's thick. So if my brother calls me right now and tells me that he's going to be dead, he's on his deathbed, they've diagnosed him with cancer, something, I'll probably cry a little bit. But compared to my dog, just like my dad, okay, so when my dad died last spring, I cried a little bit. I was a little bit depressed. But after a day or two, I felt a lot more relief, because I had grown up with this alcoholic for my whole life. And after he passed, it was like, yesterday, I cried over my dog. I still miss her a lot. Once in a while, I feel a little bit sad over my dad. But we're talking about human beings here. My dad was not a dummy, okay? But in regards to common sense with health is concerned, where health is concerned, I do not know where he dropped the ball. I have no idea. My mom has more of a gumption, more of an idea about health, because she was a nurse and she saw a lot. But you would think that she'd have made a lot more effort than she has. Because the last time I saw her, she was still drinking tap water. Okay, so I do not know. In all honesty, sometimes I have no idea why my family is as they are. But there's nothing, absolutely nothing that I can do other than to stay clear away from them. That's what I do. Okay. So it's the same with my neighbor. Okay. I just do not talk to her. Nil. Zero. Okay. So that's the one thing that you can do. You can stay away from people, including your family, as much as you can, and that will give you a degree of peace. Because whenever I would go back to their house, one of their houses, it would just be the same old hell. Even after I had returned to my mom's house, after not having seen her or talked to her for at least 8 years, I returned there because I was desperate and I was on the road and I needed a place to stay, right? Within a short period of time, that was it. It was back to exactly the same things, the same arguments, the same problems, yada, 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 as before. And so I learned that people don't change, you know. Only you can change yourself. You can change yourself to a degree. So I'm teaching you, I'm telling you this, my experiences. I'm not telling you anything. I'm relaying my experiences to you so that some of you will be able to relate to this. Some of you will be able to understand the truths about what I'm telling you. And you'll be able to make better decisions in your own life because you don't have to go through the same crap over and over again. Okay, so there's billions and billions of people in this world right now. And just because you're related to some of them directly, and because they raised you, okay? So here's another perfect thing, okay? The Bible says, from what I've heard, something to the degree of that you should respect your mother and father. I don't remember exactly what it is. Maybe it's one of the 10 Commandments. Is that what it is? Somebody tell me what it is in the comments chat box. So anyways, you should respect your mother and father. And in my case, I have and had some respect for them. On a scale from 1 to 10, each one of them probably a 4. Okay? So it's not a clear cut and dry black and white thing here. Some parents deserve a lot of respect, and some parents don't deserve any respect. My parents deserve about a 4. As far as raising me is concerned, maybe a 5, maybe a 5. So some of the values, some of the good values that I have came from my parents because they were raised half decently. But I could complain about a whole hell of a lot of things too. So they did a half decent job with me, and that's about it. And so you shouldn't just listen to something that the Bible tells you because you should, it didn't go into that kind of clarity. Did the Bible go into that kind of clarity like I just did? You should respect your parents a variable degree. No, it just said that you should respect them. Blah, 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 blah. If you use your freaking brain, you can actually go deeper than that kind of superficial idiocy. That's just stupid to think that no matter what, you should respect your drug addict parents. There are people out there that have parents that aren't worth two craps. They're just a burden on our world. Those people need to be executed. We don't need those kinds of people in this world. And so that's what I think. So I'm just telling you my opinion. You don't have to agree. And and when I tell a lot of people my opinion, a lot of them don't agree, and then they don't buy my products. Those people are missing out, first of all. And if they don't agree with me on things, simple things like that, well, then to them anyway, I don't care. But the rest of you that see the value in my opinions should support me and help me through this piece of crap world because there's so much yada yada in it, and the masses aren't going to be supporting me. Do you think that I could run for president? If I were to get up on a podium and tell people all of the things that I've been telling you in this video, how many out of 100 would actually agree and decide that they would like to vote for me as president of the United States, king of the world? How many of them would actually buy a millet hull pillow from me after they heard all of my opinions on how if you're drug addicted parents, your worthless criminal repeat offender parents should be executed? If if I were to say that, my opinion on capital punishment in regards to people that just suck to the general public, how many of them would still buy products from me and or vote for me for president? Not very many of them, because most of them are good Christians, right? And thou shalt not kill. I just don't buy into the things that people buy into. Those are the same people that will experiment on innocent animals so that they can create their drugs because they're addicted to white sugar. You know, people are not more important than animals. And I've told you this before, and you're going to see what is going to happen in this world with an overpopulated human population. It's going to get rebalanced. And if people don't start changing, it's going to get rebalanced a whole lot more than is going to be handleable. It's going to be really hell for a whole lot of everyone. Everyone, it's going to be just trouble for everyone in so many regards. Because the more those screws get turned in on people, the more everyone's going to squeal. And when people squeal, then the government is going to be pressured to do various things, like Russia and putting 100,000 troops on. This is what happens. When everyone gets desperate, then everyone is like trying to take other stuff, other things from people, like other countries' land, invade their lands, and then wars start. And then we have a nuclear situation and all kinds of problems. And this is just the world that we live in, a bunch of freaking overpopulated idiots because they don't know how to. Here's the problem. People don't have enough discipline to learn about natural birth control. This is the problem. You can go on Amazon or you can go to any bookstore and you can learn about natural birth control. And you cannot have babies. And it's funny to me that it takes a situation like we're in now before people start thinking and reacting appropriately to a world that's this overpopulated because they can't afford to have a baby. Okay, so they're not thinking in terms of, oh, we better not bring a kid into this world because this world just really doesn't need more humans. They're thinking in terms of like, oh, I can't afford it, so we better not have any more kids, or we've got too many kids already now, and so it's putting a big squeeze on us and we can't even afford to feed them, and we're having to do without this and we're having to do without that, and our lifestyles are suffering and da. So yeah, it's just a real shame that people don't put, there's 14 of you watching me right now. All you have to do is go to any bookstore and look up any book, find any book, or just go online. You've got the internet. All you have to do to avoid having more babies is to learn about natural birth control. The woman has cycles of heat cycles every month. And and you learn about those heat cycles. If you want to really make sure that she doesn't have a baby, what you do is you go on Amazon and you buy this thing called it's a monitor that tests her temperature every day. And then after a couple of months, the computer knows exactly what her cycles are, her personal cycles are. And it tells you, yes, you can have sex. No, you can't have sex. For 500 bucks, $500, you can buy one of these machines and you'll never get it wrong. It never fails. It's like 99.9% accurate and it never fails. And all you have to do is have enough discipline to not have sex on the days that it tells you to not have any. Then you will avoid having an expense that costs you tens of thousands, 100, 200, $300,000, 18 years of expenses, 18 years of trials and tribulations of worrying about the kid going to school and getting bullied, worrying about the kid having to get a you know what or wear a mask every day, this and that. Pop singer Ricardo Arjona is a big influence in my life with his pop songs, as well as the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Roman Catholics tend to obey the church hierarchy instead of actually living their Christianity. Ironic but true, you, bro, are more Christian than most churchgoers. Joe and Michael always make a lot of comments. Kiddo says, I believe it is you that shall honor thy father and mother. Yes, it is one of the 10 commandments. I have always had trouble with this. You know, some fathers and mothers are worthy of a lot of honor, a lot of honor. And some of them aren't worthy of any at all. They're just total pieces of dung. Okay? And so that's what I've learned. After 56 years, after 56 years of hearing this kind of rhetoric from people, like from the Bible, thou shalt honor thy father and mother. Okay, so who tells you that? I've told you this before. I know I've told you guys this before, but who are the ones? Who are the ones in the world that are constantly reiterating, is that the word? Reiterating that you should honor your father and mother. Well, your father and mother, all the fathers and mothers out there are going to tell all the children, everyone's children that you should honor us. Yeah, whether we're worthy of it or not. And all the humans, it's all the humans that think that humans are the most important species on the earth, right? Would the animals tell you that humans are the most important, the most valuable species on earth? No. I'll tell you for sure right now that considering the state of the environment right now, human beings are the lowest life creatures on the face of this earth. They are the most worthless, in the red, value-wise, people, animals on the face of this earth. Human beings are God knows how far in the red as far as their value is concerned on this earth. And so the ones that are the lowest of low lives, if you think that I think that those people, once again, the title of this video is things that I think are something like things that I think are valuable and things that I think are not valuable. Okay, so a lot of the things that I think that are not valuable in this world, most of them are people. So all you have to do is think about all of the different kinds of low lives in this world and ponder on that, and you would probably be guessing a lot of the things that I think are not very valuable in this world. Yeah. So thanks, Candy. Thanks, Candy. But I'm glad that some people are in alignment with my thinking, because when I tell you that I think that a lot of people, humans, are worthless, A lot of humans will backlash at me and unsubscribe, not buy my products, stop watching this video, whatever, file a complaint, whatever, because they don't want to hear the truth. Most of the people that like listening to me are people that honestly like to hear the truth from both sides of the aisle, whether it be Republican, Democrat, black or white, Hispanic, whatever, religion, anything. One state, the country people against the city people, uh, whatever. Russians against the US, the China against the US. I'll tell you the pros about the Asian countries. I'll tell you good things that I like about the Asian countries and bad things that I don't like about the Asian countries, like how they eat dogs. But all of the massage that we've learned on this channel, all of that comes from Asian countries. So even though Asians are complete losers for promoting and allowing the killing of elephants and rhinos, and they're complete idiots because they think that the rhino horn or something like that is going to be something medicinal for them to heal. Anyone that learns about natural healing knows that the things that are clogging your body are largely to blame for your diseases. So if those people are eating dairy and other clogging thing, mass-produced meat, dogs, etc., and then they think that they're going to be able to somehow contradict that by consuming something from a rhino horn or something like that. They're absolute complete idiots. And 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 to not have respect for rivers like Asians do, there's a whole lot of things I can tell you about pros and cons about each. I've learned things that I've learned from watching videos, from listening to people, from reading articles. There are all kinds of pros and cons. I once watched this guy just dumping in Thailand. He was just dumping garbage in the ocean, in a bay in Thailand, and they were allowing it. That's what a lot of the garbage, a lot of the floating plastic garbage, for the most part, that you see in the ocean that's landing in Hawaii and stuff, it's not coming from the United States. It's coming from Asian countries where they just dump stuff, and South America too, where they're just dumping plastic in the ocean. Okay, so I'll tell you another story. Today, something that happened just today. I wanted to buy some new jams, right? I'm going to go buy some new jams because these are my last pair, and the knee almost has a hole in it. So I'm going to go to Walmart, right? And cross my fingers that they have some 100% cotton pajamas for me. And so I pull into the parking lot, and I always like to park on the outskirts of the parking lot because I like my car to be away from other people's cars. My old 93 Corolla, I like that to be away from other people's cars because I know what people do. I own an auto detailing business. People like to open their car doors and dent yours. And even though mine's an old car, I just don't like it to be around other people's cars. And somebody like some redneck might pull up next to me and they might smash the side of my car or something. Who knows what they're going to do? There are all kinds of freaks out there. And so I park my car on the outside of the parking lot like I always do, and I get out, and there are hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of cigarette butts and garbage all over. It's the worst parking lot that I have ever seen at any store in my entire life. Okay, so I went in, and of course they didn't have anything but synthetic pajamas, right? And so I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much par for the course for Walmart. They don't have any more cotton pajamas. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do the other thing that I just told myself that I'm going to do. So I walk up to the service desk and I say to the girl, I want to talk to your manager. And I looked at her with this dead effing serious look about my face, and I was dead serious. I said, I want to talk to your manager right now. And she goes, who would that be? She goes, would it, Tim? And I go, yeah, Tim. I want to talk to Tim, the manager of the Weaverville, North Carolina Walmart, right? Tim. And she gets on her phone and she calls Tim and she says, there's somebody here that wants to talk to Tim, to you, Tim. And he's like, oh, what does he want? You know, trying to inquire to figure out what this person wants. And I said, let me talk to him. And she goes, well, I can put it on speakerphone. And I go, that'll work. Perfect. She put it on the speakerphone. Oh my God. I laid into this dude like you wouldn't believe. I said, I just parked in your parking lot and I cannot believe how much trash is out there. I mean, and seriously, I wasn't lying when I said that there was just a crap load, just so much garbage all in the grass everywhere and cigarette butts like everywhere, shitloads of garbage. And I said, I'm going to take pictures of all of that trash out there. And as soon as I get home, I'm sending it into Walmart corporate and complaining on you guys. and, and this guy, he's like, well, I'll get somebody on it right away. And I told him, I blasted him. I blasted him for about 5 minutes. I said, I'm 56 years old and I've seen a lot of trash in parking lots in my life. But this is absolutely, and it was absolutely the worst trashed parking lot that I have ever seen. And it's like, Walmart, do they not have enough money to pay somebody, to pay employees to go out and clean up all the trash? It was horrible. And so I didn't have my camera, or I would have actually done that. But I'm thinking seriously, next time I'm going to take my camera and I'm going to go back and check that parking lot and see. And if it's not cleaned up, I am going to take pictures of it and I'm going to send it in to Walmart corporate and complain. And I'm going to tell them that I talked to Tim, the manager at the Weaverville Walmart. And yeah. So that's what I did today, in addition to going to the co-op. And then I told you that I went to the thrift store and they made me wear a mask, but I got some really good shirts for $11. I got 4 all cotton t-shirts. Do you want to see them? I'm not going to wear them until I've washed them because they smell like freaking dryer sheets. Okay. This one is kind of snazzy. It doesn't quite fit as good as the other ones, but I like it. It's got a pocket on it. It's got kind of a snazzy pocket on it. And this one smells like, this one smells kind of like the thrift store and a little bit of cologne, but it fits me good. But like I said, I'm not wearing any of these until I've washed them. And when I go over to the laundromat, because we don't have a laundromat here, washing machines, I get in the top of the washing machine and I take a paper towel. And I get all of the last person's soap out of there because they're always scented and they always make my clothes stink like you know what, like some soapy yada yada. This one doesn't smell too bad. So this is just a red one. I don't want any funny anything on the shirts that I buy. I just want them to be plain. if they have some kind of a nice design or something, but I don't want to advertise for somebody at, somebody's business or some high school or something. So these are just plain shirts. This is just a Fruit of the Loom red shirt. 100% cotton that I just bought for like $2.50. I got a blue one. This one is also a Fruit of the Loom. These are decent quality shirts. The cotton is fairly heavy. It's fairly thick and a decent quality. T-shirts don't typically last as long as like sateen fabrics, but it's a large and fits me good for about $2.50. And another black one. Oh, and this one is a polo. This one is a polo shirt. So just a little logo like that, I don't mind. On the pocket. But black is good for wintertime because it holds in the heat. It keeps you warm to wear black in the wintertime. You'll notice that my hair is longer in the wintertime. I got a haircut today. You guys know that I cut my own hair with a Flowbee. And it's so awesome. I'm telling you, you guys, if you don't own a Flowbee, you need to get one. No more haircuts. I have not paid for a haircut in the last 2 years. I just cut my own hair with a Flowbee. And for those of you that don't know what a Flowbee is, you can just look it up on YouTube videos. And you can watch me cut my hair with a Flowbee when I first got it. After I cut it a few times, I made a video on cutting my own hair with the Flowbee. It is an awesome tool. All you need is a vacuum and a Flowbee, and you can cut your own hair. Perfect every time. It's sticking up a little bit. Look. Because I've had the hat on it, And so it doesn't lay down for like a day or two because you took the weight off of it and then it wants to stick up. You know how after you get your hair cut, it sticks up for a few days. But it's a perfect haircut every single time. And you can make it as long as you want to. Perfect haircut. I wish I wash everything I buy. My mom always washes new clothes as well. See, a few of these don't smell too bad. The smell test, but yeah, needs to be washed. Flowbee, is this the spelling, bro? No. Flowbee, B-E-E. Flow, B-E-E. This is the green brush, but the other one is better. But these kinds of brushes are the best. But the other one is I guess this is the same. This is the same, but I guess this one's just a little newer. Chakra had one of these too. But yeah, this was really only meant to be a short video, you guys. And I just really wanted to vent because I've been so annoyed for the most part for a long time, but you're going to see me continually have these once in a while. It's just how it's going to be. Because Yeah, it's like throwing up, okay? It's like diarrhea. It's mental diarrhea. Okay, let's read a fortune paper. I'll read one for Joe. Joe, you get a pink one, and it reads this. Wait, can you even read that? In time, everyone will be ready for the truths, including myself. I need only be patient. That's for Joe. Maybe that was for me, huh? Myra. Myra, do you want one? You get a yellow one, Myra. Oh, it's a short one. Oh, sorry. Live and let live. I'm picking these for me, huh? Candy, you get this one. Candy, are you tasty to eat? Candy. Organic food is important for me. Instinctively, I know the value of clean food. I hope you do, Candy. Who else wants one? Michael! Michael, do you want one? Michael Jackson. Today is a day to just sit and listen to the people, the birds, the wind, and the trees. Maybe not the people, just the birds, wind, and the trees. Who else wants one? There's more people out there. I know there's 13 of you watching. That's only about 4 that I've read. Michael wants another one. I can't tell if you guys are seeing these upside down or not. Take what you like and leave the rest. Okay. So there you go. You got to listen to me vent and tell my truths. You got to see me block a couple of wiener heads. Doofwagon. Doofwagon isn't even here. I got to block Manuel Paredes. You will never hear from Manuel Paredes on this channel ever again. ZZZ, you'll never hear from ZZZ again. I think that's all I blocked. 2 more people blocked. Oh, thanks, Candy. Thanks, Candy. You are sweet. Very nice of you, girl. So, if you want to support my channel, you don't have to just like donate money. You can if you want to. But you could buy something for yourself that's really, really nice and healthy. And the reason that I'm suggesting this to you is because that's what I like to do. I like to make natural health things for people. They're not cheap, but they're not overpriced either. I get a reasonable wage for making my products in between the range of $25 and $40 an hour when I'm working. That's not that much, and the products are made really, really good. And when you buy a millet hull pillow from me, for instance, it will last for a long time, typically at least 5 years, if not 8 years. If you wanted to keep it longer than that, you could. But we're talking about a pillow, and people have greasy hair and greasy faces and stuff, And pillows can get kind of grungy, and you might want to replace it after that period of time, between 5 and 8 years. But they last for a long time, and they really support your head, neck, and shoulders really good. And my foot friend massage tool will last you your whole life. Okay, so that tool is $80. Right now, if you use the coupon code ThinkSpring, if you use the coupon code ThinkSpring, then you will get 10% off, which is $8 off. That means it's only $72 for a foot friend massage tool. If you spend only $3 more than that, then you will reach the $75 plateau. And then you get a free bag too. Because see, right now, business is really slow. And the reason business is really slow is because people are freaked out because all kinds of things are happening in the news, and Blovid, it's doing its thing, and the Russians are going to invade, and all kinds of different things are happening that people are worried about inflation and blah, 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 blah. But I'm not living my life worrying about things. I have things to make and things to sell and people to help heal, the people that matter, which are the people that think that they're themselves matter. So you matter. Okay, so think about Black Lives Matter. Okay, so do Black Lives matter? I don't know. Some of them do. Do white lives matter? I don't know. It depends on whether they take care of themselves naturally or not. Some people are just not taking care of themselves at all, and they don't matter. They don't matter to themselves. Why the hell would they matter to anybody else? And so the things that I sell are things that I think that people would buy because they want to use them because they consider their own lives to matter, if you know what I mean. And so if you spend time, like I did this morning, making some healthy food for yourself, it's because you know that you really matter. Your body needs good quality fuel in it to be able to matter, because the things that are coming out of your mouth, the things that you do with your hands, everything that you do, it needs quality fuel for it to be able to function properly. And therefore, you know that in order for you to make good products for other people, for you to talk on the phone to people and give them a good service or whatever else that you do for a living, you have to consume good quality fuel. If you want your life to matter, then those are the things that you have to do. And so the products that I sell are for people that consider their own lives to matter, if you will. So go to brettsnaturalhealth.com. If you buy $75 worth of stuff, you can go to the checkout page, and then you can put in the customer notes, you can put, I want the bag. And then I will send you one of those shop-in bags, and you can put all of your groceries in there so that you don't have to use a plastic bag because you think that the world, the earth matters. You actually, and the earth, it is part of God, and it knows that you're making an effort. God knows everything. People will tell you that. The reason that I know that God matters or God knows everything is because if I do something wrong that creation doesn't want me to do, I get clues. I have a deep connection to it. It tells me when I'm doing something wrong. It tells me when I'm doing something right by giving me things. It does things pro and it does things con to and or against me, letting me know when I'm doing things wrong or right. That's my spiritual religious connection to it. And I typically do things pretty good. I'll tell you that I don't believe that God is always doing things in a what humans would consider to be a loving manner, you know, because God kills people. God kills thousands of people sometimes in different ways that we don't know. That's what the Christians say. God works in mysterious ways. But I'll tell you for sure that if you don't take care of yourself and you clog your body with that gunk that I was talking about earlier in this video, it won't really be, it will be God that's working in its mysterious way, but it will be all kind of on your shoulders because you created that scenario. If you create that bad scenario, you will have to pay for that. Recycling the bags is not worth a crap, Myra. You can use the bags over again, and I do that to a degree. But I try to use my cloth bags as much as possible, and I'm going to show you right now an example of what I did today. So just bringing the plastic bags back to the store and recycling them, I guess that's slightly better than not doing it at all, yes. But it's really not that big of an improvement. This is an improvement. See these little bags? I made these a long time ago. Each one of these little bags has saved, I don't know how many. It depends on how long I've had them. I've got some that are old that have saved thousands and thousands of plastic bags from going to the store. Now, it's not that I don't have some because this is from Ingles. And Ingles doesn't have the ability to take the tear off, which is the weight of the bag. But these are all bags that I used today to buy dried fruit. And yeah, these are all dried fruit. This one is prunes, okay? This is prunes. Prunes help you to poop, and they have a lot of iron in them. This is a linen bag. This is linen, and it'll last for God knows how. Linen is so strong. Linen is so freaking strong. It'll last for decades. And this will prevent thousands of plastic bags from going to the landfill. Now, for a long time at the co-op, I was not able to use my own bags. Now, they've gotten real again, and the you-know-whos are allowing them to let people to use these reusable bags in the bulk room. This is my favorite, all-time favorite material. It's called Eyes of the World, and it's got figs in it. That's got about 1.5 pounds of figs. And it saved today. When I was in Asheville, that saved a plastic bag from going to the landfill. Here's a cotton one. Item number 344, tear 10, and it's got chocolates. That one has chocolates in it. Another plastic bag, not going to the landfill. Here's another one, but this I didn't buy today. This one's got walnuts in it. Okay, so I have these for sale on my site. I don't really like making these that much because I don't make hardly any money on them. I make, like I sell 5 of them for like $30 or something. And they come with handles. Look at that is a nice little bag, all organic with the handle. And if you use those, then you're making an effort. Oh, here's another one. Oh, here's a linen one with a handle. And this, once again, this bag will last for a long time. Manuka raisins. How long do you think that this bag can be, how many times do you think it can be washed over? How many plastic bags do you think that will save from going to the landfill? All you have to do is start shopping at your co-op instead of the giant grocery store and using reusable bags. And the energy at the co-op versus like going to Ingles or a grocery store like in the West, Vons or Albertsons or something like that, the energy of going to a small co-op is so much better than going to those giant even the energy. Okay, so the co-op was they were out of oats, and so I had to go over to Green Life, which is now freaking Amazon, what's your names, Whole Foods. So I went over to Whole Foods, and the energy there, it's in this rich area of Asheville called Montford, right? It's the historic district. And the energy of the people there, the energy of everywhere in Asheville is really not very good because it's so liberal and everyone is so freaked still over the you-know-what that everyone is wearing a mask. And so, but still, the energy at the food co-op is so much better, the little food co-op, than going to Green Life or to a regular or to Whole Foods or to a regular food store, a regular grocery store. But yeah, you can save, if you just make an effort, the universe knows, and you will be blessed. The Christian blessed. You will be blessed by doing things. Okay, so I'm going to tell you another little story. Yesterday, I watched the story of this guy that saved 660 some odd Jewish children from the Holocaust and the German Nazis. And he did that by finding surrogate parents for them, adoptive parents for them in the UK. Okay, so this guy was a Jewish, I can't remember what he did for a living. I think he was a contractor doing something in Czechoslovakia. Okay, and you may have seen this as a story like from the 80s on YouTube. You can look him up. I can't remember his name, but you can look up the guy that saved children from the Nazis. 600 of them, plus 660. And so he found these parents to take care of them in the UK, and he made all the arrangements. And then in the 80s, someone found his scrapbook with all of their names. And they managed to invite a whole lot of them, dozens of them, to this room. And then they introduced him to them. And it was magical. It'll make you cry. It'll make you cry. Then I saw another interview of a guy asking him all these different questions about his life. And this guy said that when he grew up as a Christian, but then when he saw how all of the Christians in the war, in World War II, on one side, the Christians were praying for them to win. And on the other side, the Christians were praying for them to win. And after he saw that, he said that he couldn't reconcile himself to stay Christian any longer because he couldn't come to grips with that they were praying for them to die and for them to win, and they were praying for them to die and for them to win. And so the guy asked him, he said, well, how were you able to do all of these things, all of these amazing things that you've done throughout your life without any religion? And he said, well, I didn't need any religion. All I had to do was do things that were ethical. Ethical. The guy said that all he had to do was things that were ethical and a few other things like, and then I said, things that were also logical. I could give you a whole bunch of things. So, do you really have to read spiritual books? You can read some if you really enjoy reading, like I enjoy reading this one. But just because someone tells you that some book, whatever it may be, and I'm not picking on the Bible necessarily, but whatever book, if you enjoy reading it and it really gives you some value, then cool. If you go to a church, I've been to many of them, and some of them I really liked, and some of them I didn't like so much. And it depended on the people that were there. And because some people are awesome and they have really good energy and other people just suck, and some belief systems are good and they have good qualities about them, and others, like the Catholics, in my opinion, suck. Now watch, there's 9 viewers and one Catholic is just about to leave. I'm telling you that because I've been watching the Catholics and their various antics my entire life, and I've come to the conclusion that I think that there's no way in hell that I'll ever be going to the Catholic religion, ever. And I can tell you a lot of different reasons why, but I'm not going to. And so if they're doing things that are fun, if they're talking about things that make sense, then I would go to those, all kinds of gatherings. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a religion. It could be a 12-step meeting, or it can be a dance, or it can be any kind of a gathering. I love going to gatherings of all different kinds, including spiritual ones. I really enjoyed the the environmentalist one, the Unitarians, and I love the dances of universal peace too. And that's like a Sufi, I believe. Those are the Sufis. The dances of universal peace is a little offshoot kind of a thing for Americans to get involved with the Sufi religion. And there's a lot of it's a really fun thing, and yeah. But this guy, he didn't join any kind of a religion at all, and he managed to do all kinds of amazing things for humanity and probably some other things too. That he had a list of all kinds. This guy went through this list of all these different things that this guy had done in his life, and he wasn't religious at all. And he claimed that it was just that he stuck with ethics and some other factors. And so, those of you that think that maybe some of you need religion, but those of you that watch my channel, hopefully some of you realize that you don't really need to be guided by somebody from the past with their magical book, you know? Oh yeah. If you talk to people that used to be Catholics, they'll tell you why they left that one. The Mormons too, where I'm from, Utah. There's all kinds of people. If you look up, okay, go on YouTube and put into the search box, I used to be a Catholic, or something like why I got out of the Mormon religion, and listen to all of the different things, and they'll tell you all of the crap that they went through, all kinds of things. Yeah. I think that I will end it with that, though. I just keep blabbing on, and it's now been an hour and 59, 2 minutes, 2 hours, 2 hours exactly now. That's good enough, huh? For a video that I didn't even plan on hardly doing for more than 10 minutes. Thanks for joining me, everybody, and thanks to Candy, for sending me $9.99. $9.99. Candy, you've been shopping at stores too much. My mom said to me, I think I told you this story once, but I'll tell you again. I said to my mom when I was about 8, I said, why don't they just make it an even $10? Why do they always charge $9.95 for things? Or why do they always charge $9.98 for things? And my mom says, I think it's because that people think that $9.95 sounds like it's a lot less than $10. If people think that it's $10, they might not buy that item as much as if they thought if it was, priced at $9.95, because they think it's closer to $9. It's like they're trying to deceive people so that they'll buy more. And this is one perfect example of how I think that people have been brainwashed. People have been brainwashed in so many different regards. And you've really got to kind of take an eraser, like imagine that you're taking an eraser and erasing a whole lot of the things that you've been ingrained, that people and businesses and organizations have ingrained into your brain to try and fool you into doing things that don't make sense, like buying too much stuff, you know. And yeah, it's such a perfect example of how so many people are so unethical in this world. And maybe they do need their religions to bring them back, but the religions themselves are unethical in so many ways. And yeah. Anyways, and once again, I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm far from perfect, and most of you realize that. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Yes, thank you, Dallas. Shine love for all.